days ago, I was browsing YouTube, as I spend way too much of my time doing, when I came across a video by Shafrilla's Productions called Which Smash Bros. Characters Have Canonically Eaten Pizza? Impeccable concept. Great video, loved it, go watch it. But it got me wondering what else these characters have in common. I was like, I want this, but about 40% hornier. That's when it hit me. I realized what knowledge I craved. I wanted to know how many of these fighters done been smooched. And let me tell you, I learned a lot on this journey. Some things I wish I could forget. And now I must pass along this cursed knowledge to you. So without further ado, Super Smooch Bros! Not my best pun. The 3 categories are going to be definitive proof of being kissed, in which obviously receiving a kiss on screen counts, but I'm also counting if you are able to choose to kiss them as a player, and characters that are married or have kids. Married, because at a wedding you say I do and kiss, and if they have kids, because I don't know, I like to hope that romance isn't dead in the bedroom. The second category is no definitive proof, but come on, in which it's pretty clear they've been kissed, but I don't have any of the former proof. And finally, no proof, which is pretty self-explanatory. I'm also going with the same rules as Shafrilla's Productions. The kisses must take place outside of the Super Smash Bros. Series and must be within the games universe. No TV shows, movies, comics, etc. Only games. And Dr. Mario is Mario dressed as a doctor. Here, here. Since we're already talking about him, let's start with a mustachioed meleeer. Mario might actually be our most kissed on the list, with Peach giving him a big ol' smooch in many, many games. Even Paper Mario gets some action from several different sources. And in Super Mario Run, playing as Luigi or Yoshi gets them congratulatory cheek kisses too. Luigi has also gotten macked on by Peach in other games, and as for Yoshi, dead count it. Which means that Mario, Dr. Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi all have proof of being kissed. But who smooches the smoocher? For all the kisses Peach is doling out, does she ever receive one herself? The closest thing I could find was that in Super Mario RPG, she can get attacked by a move called Carnikiss. However, if you translate this move from the original Japanese, it's just known as bite, and was translated to some form of bite in most languages. And the sound it makes is much more like biting than kissing, so I'm not gonna count this. And the trend of princesses bestowing but not receiving kisses transfers over to Daisy too. You could make an argument for her and Luigi being sweeties, perhaps indicating that there may be some behind-the-scenes smooches, but they're never referred to as up and down boyfriend-girlfriend, and I have absolutely no faith in Luigi to make a move on her, so I'm saying there's no evidence. Even the princess-adjacent Rosalina has no luck. I could have sworn that at some point Illuma had given her a peck on the cheek or something, but after revisiting the storybook from the game and subsequently crying for half an hour, I couldn't find anything. So Peach, Daisy, and Rosalina are getting a no proof of kiss ruling, which is wild. Even Bowser gets more action than these ladies. That's right, there is more proof of Bowser having been kissed than these gorgeous leading gals. In Super Mario RPG, both the original and the remake, you play a game in Marrymore where how well you do results in either Peach, Bowser, Booster, or Bowser and Booster kissing Mario, which... put me in, coach! That's cursed, I'm sorry. But if you get the Peach kiss, Booster and Bowser end up accidentally kissing each other, which means Bowser gets on the board. Bowser Jr., on the other hand, stays pure and innocent, and as far as I can tell, has never been kissed by anyone. Moving on to fighter number 2 on the roster, Donkey Kong. In Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2 March of the Minis, Pauline kisses a mini DK toy, but the real DK isn't so lucky. Even Candy, DK's sweetheart and rumored girlfriend, only blows kisses at him, which we're not gonna count as an actual kiss. But I'll tell you what, with all of the ridiculous obvious innuendos, come on. As for Diddy, Dixie actually does have the title of girlfriend officially, so although she doesn't flirt as openly as Candy does, the steadiness of their relationship makes me think that both DK and Diddy are getting their fair share of off-screen smooches. But what about their arch-nemesis, King K. Rool? In Donkey Kong Country 3, he has a line where he says, "My wife is gonna kill me," which seems like a pretty open and shut case for him being married and therefore falling under the category of having been smooched. But in the November 10th and December 23rd, 1999 editions of the Scribe section on Rare's website, Rare writer and designer Lee Loveday states that they don't know if King K. Rool has a wife, and that specific line is typically a throwaway Reeves and Mortimer reference. Combining this with the fact that at this point we probably would have seen or heard more about King K. Rool's wife if he had one, I'm gonna take their word that it's probably just a goof line and say that there's no proof of kisses here. Next up, we have the hero of time, Link. Now on this roster, there's Link, Young Link, and Toon Link, and we're gonna count them all separately because it gets a little complicated here. So So starting with Link, despite his default appearance in the game, we're gonna talk adult Link in general. Considering all the timeline complications, this is important to specify, especially considering Link and Zelda don't end up together in many of the timelines, if not most. Without thinking about it, one might assume that they probably have about as many kisses as Peach and Mario, but that's far from the truth. In actuality, there's only one definitive on-screen example of Zelda kissing Link, and that's at the end of Oracle of Ages/Seasons. But we only need one on-screen example. But young Link specifically has only been in Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, and Hyrule Warriors, which isn't really canon. And in none of these does he even receive a peck, despite how much a young Anna was pulling for Princess Ruto. That left her. We stan a princess who can gaslight someone into engagement. Now, Toon Link has one of the timelines in which him and Zelda definitely have a romantic connection in Spirit Tracks, but even so, they don't share a kiss. And I wouldn't even assume that they would kiss, since I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be kind of young in this. The Castle Guard has a line about being surprised that a little kid like Link could get an engineer certificate. So while he's likely a young teenager rather than a child, I'm still gonna say both young Link and Toon Link fall under no proof of smooch. What about Zelda though? Does she suffer from Peach syndrome? Always the bridesmaid, but never the bride? Well, when I was talking about Link and Zelda kissing before, there was one example I was holding back from y'all, and that is at the end of Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, where the curtain closes and you can assume that they likely kiss. Now normally I would say that this falls under no proof, but come on, since technically she might have just been giving another kiss on the cheek behind that curtain. However, Zelda has children. In Skyward Sword, it's revealed that Zelda is the reincarnation of the goddess Hylia and the very first of a long line of Zeldas. Since the royal family continues to exist and there continue to be Zeldas named in honor of the original Zelda, the mere existence of all these descendants means that Zelda has had children. Therefore, smooched! Now surely you're thinking that that means that we can mark Sheik off too, since Sheik is Zelda in disguise. But if you thought it was complicated already, buckle up. So Sheik is specific to Ocarina of Time. So they are the Ocarina of Time Zelda in disguise. And she disguises herself to hide from Ganondorf, who was taken over due to him breaking into the Sacred Realm when they were younger. And at the end of the game, she sends you back in time and reverts you back to young Link in order to warn young Zelda about the events that transpired so they can prevent them. And if they prevent them, Ganondorf doesn't take over, meaning there's no need for Zelda to disguise herself as Sheik, meaning this Sheik and this Zelda didn't receive a kiss. And while the Zelda at the end of the game will eventually grow up and have at least one child, this Zelda will have never been Sheik. Do we buy this? I genuinely don't know. While writing this, I flip-flopped on which side I took so many times, and I could truly argue for either side. But I'm still gonna say no smooch for Sheik. Now let's talk about Samus and Zero Suit Samus. Despite your search history, no, Samus has never been kissed in any of the games. She's too busy kicking booty, and Dark Samus definitely hasn't either. Our next fighter on the roster, Kirby, receives a kiss at the end of Kirby 64: The Crystal Shards, which is pretty cut and dry. But there's something much more ominous we need to talk about, and that is face-to-face. Face-to-face is a move done to allies by Kirby after receiving food, aka health, in order to share it with them. And even though we already have kiss proof for Kirby, we need to discuss it, because Meta Knight and King Dedede both appear in games where they can face-to-face with Kirby. Also, I've always said King Dedede, so just know that I lose 3 days of my life every time I say DDD, but I'm doing it for y'all. But back to the question at hand. Is face-to-face kissing? The biggest argument for it being kissing is that in Kirby Fighters Deluxe and Kirby Fighters 2, it has the onomatopoeia smooch, or chew in the Japanese version, which is a kissing sound. While that feels like it should be case closed, there's a flip side. Nowhere in any manual does the description for face-to-face include the word kiss, and in Japanese, the translation of the face-to-face move is mouth feed. Perhaps the most damning evidence of all is that on a Kirby Star Allies update on the Nintendo Switch News channel, it read that Adelaide hides her face a little because she's a little shy about being fed items. They are baby birding food into each other's mouths. And the fact that Adelaide is a human in this world makes this mental image so challenging. So there you go. The smooch text bubble is just covering up the horrific truth of the matter. I can't even add a Photoshop graphic because this is too much. Point is, face-to-face is baby birding, so Kirby gets the kiss and Meta Knight and King Dedede don't. Next up, looking at the Star Fox gang, Fox himself marries and has a kid in the Goodbye Fox ending of Star Fox Command. Falco has a gal named Cat Monroe who has a crush on him, but Falco's hard shell provides no evidence that he returns the feelings, and Wolf feels like an aromantic king. So that's a yes for Fox and no proof for Falco and Wolf. Pikachu is next on the roster, and I'm taking it as the question of if any Pikachu has been kissed or is able to be kissed. And we can actually go ahead and lump all the Pokemon characters in here, including Pokemon Trainer, who in reality is Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard, because of the moves Sweet Kiss, Lovely Kiss, and Draining Kiss in the games. All of them have in the description that they are in fact kisses. So if you are able to have any Pokemon that can do any of these moves in your team, and you are able to face off against all of these Pokemon in the same games, which you can if you include raids, then that means that all of these Pokemon have the potential, and in some reality have, been kissed at some point. Incineroar is the main one that stands out, since the only way to get an Incineroar is by evolving it from its beginning Litten form. You can't fight it in the wild or duel an NPC that has one. But since the evolved form of a Pokemon is still itself, like it still holds the same consciousness, it's just an adult as opposed to a baby, that means that if a Litten can be kissed in the wild, which it can, then Incineroars also have the potential to have been kissed. And if it's really bugging you that I counted the Pokemon trainer as their Pokemon who you actually play as, there are plenty of Pokemon trainers who are couples in the game, so fear not, still stands. What about our good Earthbound boys? Ness gets a kiss from the performer Venus, unless she's actually baby birding him. And there's also an enemy called Kiss of Death that has smooch-based attacks. Likewise, in Mother 3, there's an enemy called Love Walker that can plant an unwanted kiss to cause Lucas nausea. Probably the most unfortunate kiss on the list, but a kiss for both nonetheless. Captain Falcon is way too laser focused on his career to deal with romance. He might be married to his car like that one guy, but the fact of the matter is that cars don't kiss back. Well, I always thought the Ice Climbers were siblings. Turns out they're not. So what are they? Pretty much the only descriptions of their relationship come from the Smash Bros. Universe, with the Smash Bros. Website saying they're friends, Snake's Codex saying they have a blood bond, and the creator of the Smash Bros. Series saying they're childhood friends and closer than friends but not lovers. I'm not gonna force romance upon these two just because they're of the opposite sex, so I'm saying no proof for Ice Climbers. Now, I've never played the Fire Emblem series, so the thought of looking into all of these characters was pretty intimidating. Turns out it's pretty easy though. Lucina, Roy, Chrom, Robin, Corrin, and Byleth all have multiple marriage candidates. Marth marries in Fire Emblem 12, New Mystery of the Emblem. And although Ike doesn't have a relationship in the games, Priam from Fire Emblem Awakening is Ike's descendant, meaning Ike has had at least one kid. Smooches for all the Fire Emblem cast. You get a smooch and you get a smooch. Everybody gets smooches! And then we have Ganondorf. Ganondorf, unlike Zelda, who we know has descendants because of the royal family, isn't so cut and dry since in almost every game he is a reincarnate. Due to how callous Ganondorf is, it's hard to imagine he cares much about anything other than power. However, in a few games it stated that Ganondorf is king of the Gerudos, since in Gerudo culture a male is born once every century and inherits the title of king because of that. While it's true that Gerudos do also leave home to look for mates, you've got to be realistic about one Gerudo male who holds the highest title in a town full of women who need to reproduce. And if that isn't dystopian enough, in Ocarina of Time it's revealed that Twin Rova, who raised Ganondorf, has magically brainwashed Nabooru, who in turn brainwashes the Gerudo citizens into loyalty to Ganondorf. So, I'm gonna say that while there's no proof, it's pretty dang likely that Ganondorf is copulated. But back to simplicity. Mr. Game & Watch, the definition of simplicity. And simply put, there's no proof he's been kissed. Pit receives a kiss from Palutena in one of the endings of the US version of Kid Icarus, but Dark Pit, recently born from the Mirror of Truth, does not have his own Palutena. And Palutena herself really said, "You don't kiss the gods kiss you." And remember, we're counting people who have been kissed. So kissed, no kiss, no kiss. Continuing down the list, Wario gets kissed by a princess he thought was a cat, reinforcing adopt, don't shop. Snake gets kissed by Eva, a lot. But far more importantly, Snake gets kissed by Ocelot. Sonic is kissed by a human woman on the mouth, which was quickly followed by Sega saying, yeah, we're not gonna do that again. Olimar has a wife and 2 kids, so smooches for him. You go, Captain Olimar, and none for Rob the Robot. Bye. Quick break to check the scoreboard. Boom, and looking good. Moving on to the Animal Crossing villager. While villagers can crush on each other, they can't crush on you, and there's no reaction for kissing, so I'm gonna say no proof there. And while Isabelle is a villager and therefore has the potential to be romantically involved, nothing in her dialogue suggests she has a romantic history with anyone. So both are getting a nay. Mega Man continues the trend of robots receiving no love, as this bolty boy has never been shown to receive a kiss. And Wii Fit Trainer and Lil Mac are 2 characters that spend more time at the gym than on Tinder. No kiss, just push up. Yeah, no proof of kiss. Finally breaking the no smooch streak, Pac-Man is married to Ms. Pac-Man and has a baby in the 3rd intermission of the game Ms. Pac-Man. Fun fact, she doesn't go by Mrs. because the wife of Ms. Pac-Man's designer didn't like to go by Mrs. But either way, baby equals smooch. I don't know if you've heard, but Shulk is really feeling it. But is he really feeling the love? The answer is yes, because he has a wife and son. Now I have to admit that I only played 40 hours of the first Xenoblade Chronicles before someone broke into my apartment and stole my Wii, and I just didn't have it in me to replay all of that, so I didn't actually know who Pyra and Mythra were since they weren't introduced until the 2nd game. But imagine my relief when I went to the Heroes Wiki and saw that Pyra was married to Rex and had a child. And then I went to Mythra's page and saw that she was also married to Rex and had a different child? And then I saw that both of their occupations were Rex's blade? And after watching a few cutscenes, I pieced together the very simple story that they're kind of the same person, but also not, but they can transform into one another, but see each other as sisters, so they're kind of sister wives, but also the human form of their spouse's sword, and there's also a third wife with her own kid. And that's when I closed the wiki and said, you know what? I actually don't want to know. Xenoblade wrote the definition of out of pocket. There's fan service and then there's this. You're wild. If it wasn't obvious, they've been kissed. At this point, I need the palate cleanse of the Duck Hunt dog. I'm relieved to say the Duck Hunt dog has not been kissed. It doesn't have any sister wives as far as I know. Next, we take a look at our Street Fighter boys. Ryu, much like Captain Falcon, just has his eyes set on the prize of being the best warrior he can be. Nowhere in the games is romance ever implied. Ken, on the other hand, has a wife and kid. One no kiss, one kiss. On to Final Fantasy, Cloud gets kissed by Jessie, Tifa, and painfully almost Aerith, but not quite. And what about Sephiroth? Does he get a kiss? No, can't reach him because of his long sword. But did you know that he was voiced by Lance Bass in Kingdom Hearts? What? Put those two on the board. Bayonetta is next, and she kisses Luca and has before, hence Viola. Mark it. Which leads us to Inkling. Is there proof of an Inkling being kissed? No. Could an Inkling even kiss? Unclear. They can reproduce, but they're not human, and Squid's method of reproduction is vastly different from our own. They have a version of our Christmas, which means they might have mistletoe. But honestly, I think I'm going too deep down the rabbit hole. There's no kissing or implied kissing in the game, so no. Next up is Ridley. There is no way that Ridley has been kissed. I'm sure there are some dark corners of Rule 34 that might disagree, but there are some stones even I'm not brave enough to overturn. We then have the Castlevania bros. Simon has descendants and Richter has a girlfriend, though girlfriends are not counted as a definite smooch in this system. After all, there's no on-screen proof of kissage, even when given ample opportunity, and I don't know when a first kiss would have happened back in the old-timey days when vampires were real. But I'm still gonna assume that at some point they probably pecked at least. So yes for Simon, and most likely for Richter. Then we jump over to Piranha Plant. Despite luscious lips, Piranha Plant no kiss, only bite. Speed round. Tuxedo Mask, Joker, aka Renamamia, smooches Sailor Moon. I mean Anne, the other girl with blonde pigtails and a miniskirt. Hero has multiple marriage candidates in Dragon Quest XI, meaning multiple smooch timelines. And for Banjo-Kazooie, I don't know why I definitely thought there would be a kiss in this series, but there isn't. Seems weird though, huh? After all we've been through in this video. Anyway, mark him. Terry is in both Fatal Fury and King of Fighters. He's involved with Blue Mary, though the exact details of their relationship are fuzzy. It's kind of like they dig each other and the game keeps it vague, only showing glimpses of their time together, but implying that they hang around each other a lot in the interims between games. But they flirt with each other, are interested in one another, and spend a lot of time together off camera. I'm gonna say, come on. Min Min, along with many of the ARMS characters, is given an extremely minimal backstory, with most of what we know pretty much just being that she works at her family's noodle restaurant. And for that reason, I am out. No kiss. Steve from Minecraft is an interesting one, both for Smash Bros. And in general in regards to if he can smooch. Villagers can mate and have children, but perhaps luckily they have no interest in Steve. Then there was that one time where the July-August 2016 issue of LEGO Magazine said that Alex was Steve's girlfriend, but then quickly retracted it in the very next issue, saying that creepers had gotten into their clubhouse and written over their words and that they're actually best friends. AKA, they got a very stern email from Microsoft after that first issue. All that being the case, there is no proof that Steve has been kissed. Kazuya from Tekken, however, has, since he's got a son and a baby mama. Boosh! Which brings us to Sora. And as much as it breaks my heart to say it, Kairi has not gotten to kiss Sora yet. Yet! Blue Ball since 2002, man. Finally, we have the Miis, which I'm just gonna count as a Mii, since they're only really split up to allow you to choose your fighting style. So can Miis kiss? After all, they do all sorts of other things to lead colorful lives. Then the answer is yes! Miis actually do in fact have love lives. Wildly eventful ones, in fact. In Tomodachi life, Miis can spontaneously decide to proclaim their love for another Mii, which results in the juiciest drama I've ever seen. Please witness this incredible example that I just love.
Oh God.
I've got feelings for Freddy and Tommy.
I fucking hate Tommy. My brother made him.
My feelings too.
Freddy is taken right now.
I'll give you an acorn if you go out with me.
That was lame.
Hold on a
Oh.
minute.
Marcellini, you're in a relationship.
Nobody loves you more than me.
What about your boyfriend?
Hold on a minute.
Queen Elizabeth.
I love you all. Who do you choose, Tommy?
Why do y'all like Tummy? Look at this hideous man.
Marceline, I'm so glad you feel the same
She's
way.
in a relationship.
The silences? It's art. How is this game not more popular? Anyway, in the same game, Mies can get married and have babies too, meaning that Mies most definitely can smooch. So there you have it, the official cast of Super Smooch Bros. What will you do with this information? God no. But you have it now. Congratulations! And I'm sorry. I think you have to pass it along within 7 days or you'll be cursed. Ridley will show up in the middle of the night looking for a smooch. So good luck with that. Leave a comment below if I overlooked a game that changes everything, and sleep tight knowing that Ridley won't show up because he shared this video. I'm gonna go finish part 45 on my King K. Rool Wattpad fanfic, but I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!
Goombanna is the wonder why she didn't come to play. Gaming vids that'll make you laugh and think and put them on replay. Intelligent, kind of funny, her community's #1. Stick around and kick your feet up. Goombanna has just begun.